Now, what is the image to the beast? Now, when we think about image in the Bible, our mind should go back to Genesis, where God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness. So an image is something that looks like the original. Its characteristics are that of another. And so the image to the beast is a religion that would be papal in nature, because it's the image of the papacy. And so Protestant America is now going to advocate a papal type of religion. Remember, we want to know which one of these beasts the image will be made of. The Bible says, and causeth the earth and them which dwell thereon to worship the first beast, which is the papacy, and saying that they should make an image to the beast which had the womb. So we know that the image is going to be of the papal religion. And so we know that things are going on behind the scenes in the hierarchy of these churches. The end result, as we see here, is that all will come under the authority of the first beast, the papacy. That's the objective. But the means of doing so is to first make an image to the papacy. What this means is that the Protestants must inculcate papal concepts, papal teachings and doctrines into the Protestant churches. And we saw last night that behind the scenes, this indeed is happening. We saw in the Times Online, in a 42-page statement prepared by International Commission of both churches, Anglican and Roman Catholics are urged to explore how they might reunite under the Pope. The statement was leaked to the Times, but as I said last night, it was leaked to us in the Most Sure Word of Prophecy 2,000 years ago. So slowly but surely, papal concepts are being brought in. Churches are becoming more and more papal. People are now saying, we don't see anything wrong with the Sunday Sabbath. They were saying that long time, we don't see anything wrong with the Sunday Sabbath. And now they're saying, we don't see anything wrong praying to Mary. And as we see here, in the Time magazine, they carried an article called Hail Mary. And in this article, it says, a man stands at the lectern at the El Amor de Dios Church in Chicago's South Side, reading in Spanish. Tears streaming down his cheeks. His text is a treatment of the Virgin Mary from one of the Bible's apocryphal books. Another congregant follows, reciting his own verses to the Virgin from a dog-eared notebook filled with tiny, precise printing. Flanking the altar are two Mary statues with fresh roses at their feet, and hanging from the hands of the baby Jesus is a rosary. The altar cover presents the church's most stunning image, Mary again, this time totally surrounded by a multicolored halo in the traditional iconography of the Our Lady of Guadalupe, and the church is Methodist. So we see here that in this Methodist church in Chicago, we find Mary being venerated, and the Methodist Church was one of the most staunch Protestant churches out that they ever had, one of the strictest ones. But here we see this church has capitulated and because of this steady flow of papal teachings that are coming in, introduced in the hierarchy of the churches. The article goes on, there are some 8 million Protestant Hispanics in the US, with the count climbing. Many hail from Mexico. So remember when they had the borders opening and all the immigrants coming up from Mexico into the United States, which church was saying, no, don't stop them from coming? Which church said that? The Catholic Church. So here, the Guadalupean lady is as much as a national icon as a religious one. El Amor de Dios' pastor, the Reverend Jose Landaverde, says his Marian additions are what? Mainly cultural, but in the context of this neighborhood and embracing these people, this is what they need. Our Lady, he says, creates hope. Church roles have what? risen Lazarus like from 12 people to several hundred since he added the Mary element. So you see now, they're making the excuse that, hey, we need to get more people to come in, so therefore, warning bell. Remember in the Dark Ages what the Catholic Church did to get the pagans to come in. What did they do? Adopt the pagan religion. So here again, history repeats itself. Now here it is, Lutheran. Remember that Martin Luther was the founder of the Lutheran Church, the first reformer that broke away from all the errors of the Roman Catholic Church. So here, Lutheran theologian Karl Brayton, co-editor of an essay collection on what might be called Marian upgrade claims. We don't have to go back to Catholicism. We can go back to our own roots and sources. It could be done without shocking the congregation. I can't predict how exactly it will happen. Some of it will be good and some of it may be bad, but I think it's going to happen. So here the Lutheran theologian says at least he is going to make sure that his congregation is going to not call themselves Catholic, but surely these Catholic teachings will be indoctrinated, and it's going to be done without shocking the congregation. So we see that although these churches carry Protestant names, are they protesting? What image do you see when you look at their worship? Do you see Protestantism? No, you see Catholicism. So the image is there of Catholicism, even though the name is Protestant. So this is how the formation of the image and the likeness to the papacy will be formed. But brethren, do not forget that there is another side of the papacy, another characteristic of the papacy that many have forgotten. And remember, Cardinal Robert Bellarmine admitted that heretics were often burned by the church. The papacy's characteristic of legislating religion and then using the state to punish those who did not comply, a lot of people do not remember that characteristic. But if we are forming an image to the beast, make sure that characteristic is going to come into that image.